I've tripled my mowing profits numerous times, and it's literally the easiest thing to do, but yet I find it one of the hardest things to continue doing. So I've made similar videos about this topic. I'll link some at the end over here. But it really just comes down to one of the hardest things for me anyway, and from what I've heard from local friends and peers and mentors and around social media, one of the hardest things for a lot of people to do is to just say no. So you've probably heard, when one door closes, another one opens. Well, in my case, when one door closes, 3 more open, aka triple your profits. So in terms of route density, which is the focus of this video in tripling profits, is think of it this way. If it takes you 15 minutes to get to 1 yard and then 15 minutes back to wherever the majority of your yards are, that's 30 minutes round trip. And if it only takes you 15 minutes while you're there to knock out the yard, whether it's by yourself, let's just say by yourself. I mean, that must be a really small yard, right? By yourself, 15 minutes, mow, trim edge, blow and go. Or maybe it's just a quick mow, blow and go, whatever it is. 15 minutes, that's 45 minutes total for that one property. And you're only going to charge it whatever you're going to charge it. Say you charge it $50. That's probably a lot for a 15-minute property. But if that's your minimum or whatever the deal is in your area, whatever, that's your pricing. So we'll just say for argument's sake, $50, 15-minute yard, 30-minute round trip, that's 45 minutes. You made $50 in 45 minutes. That's a pretty good hourly rate. We can go on and on with the math. I don't want to necessarily get into all that. Just trying to use some basic numbers. But if you're already in the neighborhood that has a bunch of yards already, and it only takes you a minute, if that, to drive down to the next street or just ride your mower down to a couple houses down or the next house next to you, you can do and say those houses take you 15 minutes each, and say a house in that situation takes you 15 minutes also to do, then you can do 3 of those yards equaling 45 minutes that you can do in that same time that you did the one that you had to drive out to. So do the math. If you're charging $50 for those yards, like say these are the exact same yards, the exact type of yards, just in different locations, and you're still charging $50 for a 15-minute yard, but you do 3 of them on the same street or the same neighborhood you're already in, almost minimal to no drive time. In 45 minutes, you can make $150 versus $50. Therefore, you're tripling your revenue. And you're also more profitable, your margins are more profitable. I talk about this a little bit in another video that I just posted not too long ago. I'll put that down here at the end of the video. But your margins will be higher that way too, doing those 3 in the same street or in the same neighborhood in 45 minutes. So your revenue will be more because you'll do more in the 45 minutes, and your profit margin will be higher because you'll be spending less expenses because you're not taking drive time. You're not spending gas and time to drive to that property 15 minutes and 15 minutes back and only doing one property. Therefore, if you say no to those yards, which are really tough, the yard that takes 15 minutes to get to, you think it's only 15 minutes, like it's literally in the same town as you are. Like, how can you even say no to that? How can you even justify telling that customer no? Looks like a easy yard, 15 minutes, $50. Why say no? Because you're freeing up time to make $150. You get it? If you say no to $50, that takes you 45 minutes to make, it leaves the door open for you to make $150 in 45 minutes. So hopefully you followed along. That's just an example of how I have countlessly said no to customers. Like, this year was the hardest. I've talked to some of my friends and mentors, and I was this close to starting to take on yards 15 minutes away, because I'm like, man, I've gotten calls so many times from yards in that same area. I could have probably built up a half a day's worth of work, but it still wouldn't be as profitable as growing in the neighborhoods I'm already in. And I'm so glad that I kept saying no, because I kept growing in the neighborhoods I was already in. Had I not said no and I started building up a new route, you think that's awesome, you're getting excited, you're expanding, driving out to a new location 15 minutes or whatever, I wouldn't have had time in my schedule and room in my schedule to add on the yards in the neighborhoods I'm already in, that I'm dominating in, and people are recommending me like crazy. So what am I going to say? No, I don't have any more room in my schedule, sorry. Or say no to my family, I'm never going to be able to come home for dinner again because it's all about growing my business and that's all that matters right now. I just want to grow. Like, no. At least for me, that's just not how it goes. So I'm just saying, I've said no so many times this year specifically. I'm glad that I didn't do that, because I grew more profitable because the yards are already in the neighborhoods that I'm already in. I will add this caveat: make sure that you give them a way out, give them an option, give them a yes. You may say no, that you can't take care of their lawn or give them a quote or whatever, but here's someone that may be able to. Always give them a referral. In the beginning, before I knew anyone, I just would see different types of companies coming around, driving around, or in the similar neighborhoods I was in, or on the side of town, different sides of towns, as I was driving around more without focusing on route density as much in the early years. And I kind of acquired knowledge of certain companies, and I could see that they did a good job, and they looked like they had a good operation and good equipment, everything. Sometimes customers would recommend certain companies for certain things, or I would see them literally on the same neighborhoods and so on. And I would recommend those people. I would say to the customers contacting me, I would say, I don't know this company personally or these companies personally, but I've seen them around the neighborhood. They do good work. A lot of your neighbors use them. Contact these people. And that was good enough at the time, because sometimes people just for whatever reason can't find those companies or don't know where to look, or whatever the situation is. It's just good to give them an option. Now that over the years that I've gotten to know a lot of local people because of social media, and just people just saying, hey, what's up, and when we're in the same neighborhood, just being more friendly and so on, and me trying to be more outgoing and make those connections. Now I have personal connections, and hey, I can refer this person for you. I know them personally, they do a good job. They're looking to add more accounts, so on and so forth, and I know specific information about them. I know what areas that they're looking for, so when customers call me from certain areas that I'm not in, I can refer them to either the same person or different people that might be trying to focus on their own specific route density area. So that's just the added thing right there, is make sure, yes, say no when it applies, to keep growing where you need to grow to stay as profitable as possible. With mowing specifically, the margins are so low, you gotta be smart about it, price right, stay close together, build that route density so you're not driving all over town, eating away at your profits and increasing your expenses, especially if you've got guys sitting in the truck with you that you're paying to just sit in the truck for a 30-minute round trip. They're not making any money. That 30 minutes, you could have gotten at least 1 yard, if not 2, done if they were next to each other or on the same street. That's all I'm saying. Just think about it. Hopefully this keeps the wheels turning for you guys. Real life examples for me. I'm glad I stayed true to it this year. It's very, very hard, especially when you're trying to grow and you just see money, 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 money. You got to stick to it. You got to stick to your plan. You got to be firm, but you also have to have a way out. Give these potential customers a yes. So this way it doesn't kind of give you a bad name. Like, well, why are you advertising? Or I see you everywhere, or what's the big deal? Or, you said, this town, we're in the same town, like, whatever the deal is. It just gives people, it just eliminates people potentially thinking negatively about you and or your company by just saying, no, I'm sorry, bye, thanks for the opportunity, and that's the end of the conversation. You give them a way out. You give them another option. I always get thank you with exclamation points after that, or if it's on the phone, thank you very much, I appreciate that. Like, people do appreciate that, and a lot of times they end up being customers for these people that I recommend now that I know the people personally, and little by little it starts coming back. These people start referring things for me, work that I do that they don't, or just work in an area that I know I'm dense in. They're like, you know what, he's already in there, already has a bunch of yards, why don't you go ahead and give him a call? Even though they might want that yard, what's the point of them coming for that 1 yard on a cul-de-sac that I already have all of the yards, or almost all except for that one? Like, it just makes more sense. I mean, yes, if they didn't know me from Adam, then they probably would just take that yard and they'd be there, and I'd be knocking out all these yards, and they'd just be there for that 1 yard and be out, and we'd still be chipping away at these. But who would be making more money at the end of the day? I would have more profit margin than the person coming for that 1 yard. So anyway, that's enough of my spiel on my rant. Hopefully this helps you guys. And if you have anything to add or share or whatever, comment below. I appreciate all the feedback. The viewers appreciate the feedback. We're all learning and growing together. I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm no expert by any means. I always say that I'm a rookie for life because I'm always trying new things. I'm always learning new things from you guys and on my own, from trial and error, and from the local guys and girls that I know here, and so on. So make sure you guys also keep trying new things and be a rookie for life. Peace.